I don't want to, and you can't make me. Hey, Tasha,
Hello.
how was your week?
My week was okay. It was
Wow.
a long, regular week for me. Work week, anyway.
Yeah. Nothing interesting then?
Mm, nope. Aside from our 15-year anniversary and my birthday, nothing interesting.
15-year wedding anniversary?
Yep.
Oh, happy anniversary, I guess? I
Thanks.
mean, 15 years? That's a long time.
I know, right?
I'd definitely be sick of anybody after 15 years. Like, ugh, you again? This is every
Yep.
morning.
And we had been together since, hang on. Oh no. Math. Since
Well, it's definitely more than 15 years.
2004? Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was the year I graduated.
Wow. Old.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
So yeah,
Word.
I you know what I said
What?
to one of my kids at school?
What's that?
He was a visitor and there's nobody else in class. It was my conference period. He just was walking by and he sat down in my room and he's like, "Hey, Miss B." And then he had a little chat and I said, "Guess what?" And he's like, "What?" And I said, "I turned 34 tomorrow." And he's like, "Wow, you're old." I said, "I know, right?" And that's all he said.
Wow, what a shitty little kid.
But I
But
also had kids who were like I had one little girl who drew me a birthday card, so that was sweet.
I don't understand children. You know, people in general. I don't understand people in general.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with that. I'm not a people.
Oh, what are you?
I don't know. Something though.
If if Gordon Ramsay put two sandwiches on both of your cheeks and said, "What are you?" What would you say?
I'd say get the bread off me. Fool. I would not say I'm an idiot sandwich chef. It's funny though.
uh,
I did just watch him on a YouTube show called Last Meals. He was really
yeah.
good. He plays up that asshole persona on television, but he's really not that guy in his real life. He's actually a really really good dude.
So, what is the last meal?
His last meal, he decided he would start with like an In-N-Out burger, which I was like, disgusting. But he had, he had a lot of things. I can't remember everything he had now.
So, if he got to choose his last meal, that's what that was about.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever watched the show Good Mythical Morning,
Yeah.
but they've spun it off into Good Mythical Kitchen as well. And
Mhm.
their Chef Josh, he has a show that he hosts called Last Meals, where he has on famous people, and they pick what they want for their last meal, and then he asks them different questions about like life, death, and just overall their career and things like that. I know he had a beef Wellington on there as well, because
Huh.
that's one of his famous recipes, and Josh wanted to, serve it back to him. He said it was really well done. He really enjoyed it. So
Nice.
yeah,
I would not have pictured In-N-Out Burger for Gordon Ramsay.
yeah. Well, Gordon's a weird guy. I did ask someone to come on the podcast,
Oh, me
and
too.
their response to me was, "I don't think I'd be interesting enough to have on a podcast, but I will try to remember some of my dreams, and then maybe I can come on one soon."
Yay.
Yeah. How did your interaction go?
It went well. He just mentioned, because, okay, during like a meeting before
Mhm.
the second semester started, there was a lecturer who had us go around the room, introduce ourselves, what we teach, and one interesting fact about ourselves. And my interesting fact was that I run a podcast with a good friend of mine. And I said, so here's my plug if any of you are interested in being a guest. So yesterday, during my birthday lunch, Matt was like, or there was well, you've met Matt just
Yeah.
once. Matt said, I didn't know you had a podcast. And I was like, yeah, man, about dreams. If you're ever interested in, being a guest, that'd be awesome. And he said, oh, I didn't want to impose, but yeah, that'd be cool. And I was like, oh man, join.
All right. Yeah.
And then Crystal, who's another teacher friend of mine, she's like, I heard what time you do that podcast. She's like, I don't have time to drive all the way out and do all that. And I was like, girl, it's like a phone call. You do it from the comfort of your own home. And she didn't have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
So I think she just does not want to get up that early.
Yeah. I asked Elena,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
and I said, I was like, what time do you get up on Saturdays? And she was like, I don't know, early. And I was like, 5 a.m. early? She was like, oh, that is early. It's like, yeah. And I told her it was because it was my bedtime and that you were just waking up at that time usually. And so it works out. And
Mm.
she was like, it's funny that it's your bedtime. And I was like, well, generally speaking, yes. It is going
Yeah.
to be so cold this
Oh
week.
my gosh. Yeah.
And there's snow in the forecast.
Yup. So hopefully we get a nice little ice day or a snow day.
I don't know. It is funny though, because my mom actually said the same thing. She's a pharmacy tech, but she was like, I hope that we do have snow. That way I don't have to go in.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm getting tired. It's like, yeah.
It'd be so nice to have an extended 4-day or 3-day weekend because we are not going to school Monday for MLK Day. And
Oh.
yeah, so it'd be nice to have Tuesday off too.
Did you know that because of racism, some southern states don't call it MLK Day? Like, I mean, colloquially, you know, not like they recognize it as a different day, but they don't call it MLK Day. They actually call it Charles Earl Ray Day.
Whoa,
Yeah, right?
that's crazy.
It's like, wow, racism is alive and well in some places.
Mm-hmm.
Or James Earl Ray. Is it James or is it Charles?
I don't remember. It's an Earl Ray.
Anyway, it's the guy who shot him
Yeah,
and not him. So
it's pretty awful.
it's okay if we don't remember his name correctly. He's not
Yeah.
the important one.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you ready to get into it?
I am.
All right, hit him with the intro, Tasha.
Welcome to What M Dreams. I'm one of your hosts, Tasha, and I'm here with,
Dustin,
and we're here to talk to you about dreams. Dreams, dreams, dreams.
I liked that one. That one was different.
I felt like I was finally on key.
Well, no, it sounded more ethereal too.
Huh. That's because I'm sick.
That's weird because like before you sounded drunk.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Jesus, sometimes with you.
Eh.
It was like I I knew that it would make Nesto laugh, but I didn't know how much when I said what I said in chat earlier when
Oh, but
when I was like it's probably something nerdy and bullshit. Tasha, what are some things you like?
yeah, he read it. He's so dumb. His reaction was late. I think he read it after me. I read it. I was like, this motherfucker. And then I continued scrolling on Instagram. And then, like, a couple minutes later, Nessa's like, he got you, Tasha. He's like, I like what he said. That was funny.
Yeah. Uh, so you said you didn't have many dreams that you remembered, but did you have any dreams that you remembered?
I have one. And then I was going to talk about some that were similar to it that I've had before.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start because I said so. So,
Well,
this dream that I remember happened last night, and I shall title it Ernesto Flooding. Oh, what's that word for running away?
running away.
No, like in an emergency.
Escape.
Evacuation.
Evacuation.
Yeah. So, in this dream, there was a flood on its way. What is weird is, well, me and Ernesto were separated. He was somewhere off in a different place,
Mm.
in the direction that the flood was coming. So it was like it was a hurricane or something because we knew it was or maybe like a tidal wave because we knew where it was coming from, like a tsunami. Anyway, so there were a bunch of people, and I was standing kind of like far off, pretty far away from the tsunami where the tsunami was going to hit, and um there were a bunch of people like running towards me, trying to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just standing there like, oh shit, is Ernesto gonna make it out? So I was just like pacing back and forth worriedly, and I could see like water like rushing at people's feet towards me. Such a weird image. I think it's because I watched a video recently of a giant wave that was about to hit um the shore, and it extended into like a little bit a part of the town. But it was a pretty strong one, so if you're right at the shoreline, you might have gotten swept out. But yeah, it was a video of a person running away from that. I think that's why I dreamt this. But anyways, so I was just pacing back and forth in my dream, worrying about Ernesto, and I see only men running my way, trying to get to safety.
Okay.
So there was some kind of like guy convention where he was at for some reason. And I was like, oh, shit, is he gonna make it? That was the whole dream. That's all I remember. Just me
It's a
worrying about him.
waving man.
Oh
Instead
my
of raining
gosh.
men, it's waving men.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Just didn't know.
You had to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember him making it. I was just worried sick the entire dream.
And then you woke up before it ended.
Yep, like usual.
So at this guy convention, uh, since it was like a beach town, were they all in like beach attire, or were they just dressed differently, or what?
I guess some had beach attire on, like shorts and short sleeve shirt, but I don't remember any other details
No like suits or anything, right? So
about
nothing
their
where it's
clothing.
like, oh,
Yeah,
you don't
no.
belong.
No.
All right. So is this a dream that led you to think about other dreams that were similar?
Mm-hmm. I dreamt, I think it was earlier this week, where we were evacuating for somewhere. There was a bunch of people evacuating from, including myself, and I was worried about Ernesto. And I was driving off in the truck alone, and I'm like, well, I wonder where Ernesto is. I hope he's evacuating too, because we got separated somehow. And so the whole dream was just me driving away hurriedly in rain in the dark.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I remember from that one.
It does seem like in crisis scenarios, you and Nesto are usually separated, and you're freaking out, hoping that he's made it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that.
I wonder if it has anything to do with Nesto's fragility.
Maybe.
With his broken hip.
Yeah, maybe. Broken hip and all kinds of other problems.
Yeah, but I like making fun of his broken hip.
So does Alice. Whenever he starts making fun of her, and she's like, shut up with your broken hip.
And see, I say that to him too. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, about Alice.
Okay.
Remember, we were texting back and forth about this, about teenagers
Yeah.
thinking every little thing is a big thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. For any listeners, my daughter, and I was listening to her conversation with another little friend of hers when I was driving her friend home from school, um, earlier this week, and her friend asked my daughter, so when you're walking in the hallway, what do you do? Like, what's going on with your face? Like, what do you do with your eyes and your hands? Like, where are you pointing? And I was like, wow. Did I ever feel this self-conscious?
Yes. Yes, you did.
I feel like I didn't, but you keep saying I do, so maybe I did.
Well, I mean, I didn't know you, so I don't know. But like everybody does.
I know everybody does, to a degree. I don't remember that extreme of a degree.
Well, I mean, maybe not like what do I do with my hands or anything like that, because most of the time I was either walking or I had like books in my hands or something. So I had my hands on my books. Sometimes the glances and things like that, you read way more into them than are there. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, she looked at me. She smiled a little bit. Is she smiling just because she's nice, or is she smiling because she's into me? I think she's into me. I'm gonna tell everybody she's into me.
Yeah. And she's telling me about like an elaborate plan that she has with her and her friends where they're going to approach the boys who she thinks or going to approach the boy who she thinks likes her plus a bunch of other boys that are his friends. So she has like an elaborate plan. She's like, "Okay,
Okay.
so here's the plan." And she was telling me all about it yesterday when she was driving. So I have her, but we've been practicing. She's been practicing driving this past week.
Well, that's
I'd take
good.
her around the, yeah, I've been taking her around the block or let her do a lap or two around our little neighborhood.
Yeah.
And yesterday we had her music going and she was talking to me and she ran a stop sign and I was freaking out about the stop sign. So I guess this is partially my fault, the next part, but I was like, "Why did you pass the stop sign?" And she was like looking at me and then looking at the stop sign and looking at me, and she did not press the brakes. So we almost went into a ditch. So yeah, afterwards she kept telling me, "You distracted me with the stop sign." And so I was like, "How can I distract you? I'm just telling you, you ran the stop sign." And she was like, "Yeah, but you like pointing at it and everything." And I was like, I was not getting it. But yeah, later on when we were at home and she was telling the story to my mom, Mom was like, "You got to train your mind to not let yourself get distracted." And she was like, "Yeah, mommy." And I was like, "What? Okay, so it's my fault." But I thought about it later and I was like, "Okay, I guess it was a little bit my fault. I probably should not have freaked out like I did."
Yeah.
Back.
But
Yeah,
going,
I was a little
yeah.
on edge after that.
Well, so you going back to the reason you got on her driving was that she was telling you her plan.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going to share the plan? Because that's where I thought this story was going, and then you went into a completely different tangent.
Yeah, tangent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the plan. So the plan is her little friend. She sells candy out of her backpack. I know it's not allowed, but whatever. It's not my kid, not my problem. So her little friend sells candy out of her backpack, and Alice usually walks around with her after school, and her friend's a little shy. So Alice is the one who's like, hey, are you interested in some candy you want to buy? And so she's been doing that after school recently. She's been telling me about all about it, and she said the plan is we're gonna walk up to him and his friend group tomorrow morning or on Tuesday morning, and I was like, okay, and what? You're gonna ask him if he likes you? She's like, no, I'm gonna sell to him. What? I'm gonna sell to him. She's like, why would I ask that? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe so he can figure things out. And she's like, no, I just have to go see what they say. And I'm like, you want me to tell you what they're gonna say? Yes or no, I would like to buy candy, or no, I don't want to buy candy. There you go. Mystery solved. And she's like, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's been telling me all these things like that, and I'm like, you want me to tell you what he's thinking? He likes you. There you go, mystery solved. She's
Yeah.
like, but what if he doesn't? What if it's wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if it's his friend who actually likes me, not him? And she's like, guy code, mom, guy code. You can't break guy code, so I wouldn't be able to go out with his friend. And I'm like, okay, you're never gonna figure anything out. You're never gonna figure nothing out unless you guys talk. And even then, you might not figure it out because, you know, people can lie or avoid.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing she's
But
got to understand that boys are simple.
yeah, I keep telling her. I keep telling her. They're pretty straightforward. in my
Mm-hmm.
experience, I haven't dated many, but I have learned over the years that men are pretty simple when it comes to relationships. Like subtlety is not a thing.
And
Subtlety is not a thing.
most of the time, if a girl likes us, then we're on board. Especially at
Yeah.
that age, it's just like, oh, a girl likes me? Huh. I could, you know what? I think I like her too.
But yeah. Oh man, that reminds me of she had told me this was like several months ago, okay? She was on a little field trip. One of her crushes was on the field trip too. It was medieval times. So her Alice and her little friend were sitting together at a table. And she was passing glances, like knowing glances between herself and her little crush. And all of her little crush's friends were all like, go talk to her, go talk to her, go talk to her. And she's like, but I didn't know. Like it was if they were talking about me or not. And I'm like, Alice, they're probably talking about you. Because guess what? He ended up going to sit down at her table and say, so how's it going? So he worked up the courage to go sit down with her, okay, and her little friend. And guess what happened? Guess what the reaction was?
What?
They felt so awkward, and they had, like social social skills not so high at some moments, especially moments of awkwardness. Their reaction was to laugh in his face.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's what I said. I was like,
That just
dude,
ruined that boy's confidence.
exactly. I'm like, that's what I told her. He had the courage to go sit. That takes cojones to go sit next to a girl and say something,
Yeah.
especially when everybody's watching and when she's around her little friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't mean to laugh. And she's like, I ruined it. I ruined it. I ruined it. And I'm like, yeah, you might have ruined that moment, but but that doesn't mean it could be the last moment. There's probably going to be plenty of other chances. But soon after that, she saw him with a girl, and she was on to the next. So,
It's I mean, that literally is like that little girl that I sent you the other day that was just like, I dress cute. I winked at him two
exactly.
times.
That's exactly how she is.
Uh, but it's funny you telling these stories because it actually reminds me of a dream I literally had this morning before I woke up.
Oh,
And I don't know, maybe it was because you were texting me uh about Alice and these stories like that.
yeah.
Um, but I guess I had a dream that I was a teacher or something. Um, because
Okay.
I was definitely in a high school setting, but I was my age. I was still currently my age, and I know this because I actually said it in the dream. I was watching this little girl who I knew, little, and she's like 15 or 16, whatever. But
Yeah.
she's like, it's this whole friend group. This one Vietnamese girl and this black girl and some other girl that they've just now started hanging out with. And the Vietnamese girl started like really talking it up with the new girl, you know, and the black girl was kind of like, left out on the side. And I brought the black girl over and I was like, hey, listen, I know exactly what's going on here. I've been through like scenarios like this when I was your age. Look, I'm almost 40. I know what's going on, right? And I was like, you feel like they're squeezing you out because like it's a new friend, whatever. Don't feel like that. And like I was just trying to give her like really good advice about like, how to deal with that situation. And then like, and she was like, okay, I understand. And that was when I woke up.
Dang, I was gonna see how it ended.
I mean, yeah. It, but it was so weird to me that I was like, you know,
Listen, grasshopper.
yeah, that and that I was in a school setting because like
As a teacher.
yeah, that's the furthest thing from what I want to do.
Yeah, man.
You know
Well,
me.
that was a nice dream.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, nobody died in it, so that's good.
That is good.
I mean, my dignity died. My self-respect died.
When what?
because because I had to deal with children.
Oh.
You know me. I don't like dealing with children.
Yeah,
Chillins.
they can be awful sometimes.
That reminds me. Have your kids been asking why your friends haven't been coming over?
They did for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept asking, is it game night? When's it gonna be game night?
Oh, I told one of my friends about our texting when I said that I'm gonna be sick that day.
Oh
He
yeah.
was just like,
What'd your friend
"There's
say?
something wrong with you." Like, yeah,
Yeah, man. So if she really asks you, would you turn her down?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh man,
I don't
that's
like
funny.
events.
I get that.
I mean, I didn't even want to go to Irene's. I was happy when it was icy, and I was like, I don't have to go to this.
I'm still sad about
That you
missing
didn't get to go.
Irene's. Yeah. And
You should have gone to
her,
the reception, though.
I know. I should have gone. I was too scared. Her
Yeah.
freaking wedding present is sitting right in front of me in my closet, by the way.
Well, it's been over a year now. You might as well just take it back.
I don't think I can take it back.
Use it for yourself then.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, any other dreams?
No,
Me either. Boy,
wait, hang on.
I'm surprised you haven't had some like stress dreams or anything.
Yeah, me too. Oh, it was a short story. I was like, I swear you told me about a dream.
Oh yeah, about the short story that is super dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, that short story idea that I had, I was driving this lady around and she was talking to somebody on the phone and she said, "Yeah, I was down at the train station and I saw, just a bunch of homeless people down there." And she was like, and I felt so bad. She's like, "I think I'm gonna get with my church and see if we can do some kind of like homeless outreach where we, make plates and bring them to the homeless." And I was like, "Ooh, what if she poisoned the plates?"
Did you tell her?
I didn't because she was on the phone, and I was like, but
Should
I
have
was like,
interrupted.
yeah, that would be a great. Hey, ma'am, have you ever thought about poisoning those food plates
What?
that you're giving to the
Like what?
homeless?
What if he poisoned them, ma'am? Ma'am.
But yeah, it hit me, and then I was just like, because they're homeless, would it really be traceable back to her, or
Yeah.
back to that church? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, that would make for a really dark story if like the church was like, was doing it for the greater good, basically thinking that they're helping the homeless because, you know, they're ending their suffering, and at the
Yeah.
same time making the community a nicer place because they're ridding the community of the quote unquote unseemly element. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's some. When you first said that, I was like, that's some Game of Thrones shit. Like, was that on Game of Thrones? I don't think so.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
I know. I was thinking that to myself.
But I was like, man, that would be really fucked up. And then I started thinking,
Yeah,
I
it
was
would.
like, I wonder if that's ever really happened.
Probably. You should Google it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna get put on some kind of list for sure with
I
that.
know. That's what I was thinking.
Poisoning homeless. Legal?
Some FBI guys probably like this motherfucker.
Yeah. My FBI agent is just sitting there going, well, this is not going to be easy to defend. I know I had someone try to scam me earlier. That was fun.
Gross.
Yeah, I worked during the day again the other day, and
Okay.
I dropped somebody off, and then I got another pickup, and so I'm heading to that pickup, which is just like it says 3 minutes away. So I go, I'm right there, and then I get a phone call from the Uber passenger, and it's this person saying, "Oh, I'm actually with Uber support. We gave you a fake uh trip so that we could keep you from getting other trips while we need to talk to you." He was like, someone reported that there was a female driver on your account recently. And I was like, nope, it's always been me. And then they they started talking to me for a little while. They were like, well, I see here that you've got like 5,000 trips and blah blah blah, and you've been with us for a while. Then he started saying like, we can offer you a $500 something, and I was like, this sounds like a scam. Can you verify with me that you're from Uber? And he was like, well, I
Mm-hmm.
called you from the Uber. And I was like, well, no, you called me from the Uber passenger thing. Could you send me a message through the Uber app? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. You'll get an email before the call is over. But I would like to know. And I said, well, no, could you send me one now before we go any further? And then he hung up.
He's on to me.
Yeah. So,
Lately, I've been doing this thing that's getting on Ernesto's nerves, where
uh-oh.
I answer spam phone calls
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just put them on mute. Like I put myself on mute and I let it run. And he's like, "Why would you even answer them?" And I'm like, "I don't know." My feeling is that like if I answer it and they don't get an answer, maybe I'll be on some like not working no call list. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I've been told is that if you don't answer, it makes it easy or it makes it better for you because they're more likely to remove you. I don't
Yeah.
find that that's the case though, because I rarely answer and I'm getting those calls at least once a day.
Yeah, I answer almost every time and I put them on mute. But I don't know if it's making any difference.
Probably not.
Really not. They're like roaches.
Yeah. Oh. um so texting etiquette. We talked about that earlier this week. Um,
Yeah. Capitalization, punctuation.
yeah, because so I never, I rarely punctuate anything anymore on my texts. Um, and I remember saying something to you because sometimes you put periods and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But when you do put a period now, because of what we talked about, I can't stop seeing it when it happens.
After you said that, I started putting them just randomly.
I know, I know,
Uh,
because it's like I'm scrolling back through our texts and like there are zero periods whatsoever for most of this, and then I we got to where we were talking about that song that I sent you, and then you
yeah.
put "It's a good song," period. Sad though, period. And then like there's no periods on anything after that. So I'm like, uh-huh.
Hee hee.
Yeah. Yeah, I had read that texting etiquette was that if you put a period after your sentence now, the younger generation specifically takes it as you're being mad at them.
It's so silly.
Yeah. It's it's that overthinking thing, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with um Alice and her friend talking about what to do with their hands, you know.
Yep.
Are you mad at me? What? Why would you think that? You put a period. Okay, it's the end of a sentence. you know.
Yeah. Same thing.
Anyway, well, I don't have any more dreams. Do you?
Nope.
Wow, this is going to be a really short episode.
Yep.
That's fine.
That's okay. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to recommendations.
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 Where were you going?
I don't know.
I
My
felt like you just took liftoff or something.
my voice cracked and then it stayed there. uh,
Eh.
I'm going to do another podcast.
Ooh, what about?
Uh, no, I mean I'm not. I'm recommending a podcast.
Oh, okay.
Although I could do another podcast,
Mm-hmm.
just like do all my story ideas or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to recommend a film that's on Netflix right now called Leave the World Behind. Oh, wow. I just saw that it's rated R. That's interesting. I don't remember anything that would make it rated R. Strange. Okay. Well, the premise of this is a family on vacation, and they get by by weird chance they get stuck with another family, and something happens in like out in the world, like society. There's like a giant blackout. That's one of the first things that they hear is that there's a blackout, like no electricity or it might be no internet actually. So communication is down, but it starts there and then it just grows. Like more and more things keep happening in the world,
Yeah.
not just in the city. So yeah, that's the premise of the movie,
Hmm.
and it looked compelling to me because it looked like apocalyptic, but it's the setting is just the house from the trailers that I saw. That's why I wanted to watch it because I was like, I like more intimate films where, something bigger on the outside is going on, but they focus on like one family or so. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a small story
Yeah, with
that
big things going
is
on.
contained
And
within a much, much bigger story.
yeah, I like films like that. So I had to know what was going on in the world. That's why I had to watch it. Also, pretty good cast. Julia Roberts, haven't seen her in a hot minute. Ethan Hawke plays her
Ooh.
husband. Kevin Bacon,
Mm-hmm.
he's in it. Let's see.
I know some of these words. Go ahead.
You're dumb. Mahershala Ali. Some might recognize it. I recognize his face.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see what it has on Rotten Tomatoes. Not bad. 76 rating. So anyways, if you're into suspense, thriller, apocalyptic sort of films, check it out.
All right. And it's on Netflix, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds interesting. It reminds me of other films that I've seen, but I can't quite put my finger on exactly which ones. Like kind of like A Quiet Place, where it's like it focuses on that one family, even though the entire world is like devoid of people now, just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right. So I'm gonna recommend another podcast. It's another fiction podcast, and it's by the same producers as the last one I recommended last week, which was from the Night Vale Presents family.
Oh yeah.
But it's called Within the Wires. Now, I've only listened to the first 3 seasons out of apparently 8 that are going right now. The first season so far was the best season. It's kind of a found. You know how like they do the found footage horror movies where it's like, oh, I
Uh
found this
huh.
camcorder and you see the shaky cam. It's like
Yeah.
that, but with audio. So it's I don't know what they call it. I guess found audio. Each episode is called a cassette because it sounds like a cassette tape being played.
No.
But the first season's a little bit different because the way it plays out is that it sounds like the listener, you as the listener are supposed to be listening to audio inside like some kind of asylum type thing, but
Oh.
it ramps up throughout the season to something else entirely. And it's one of those things that like you have to let yourself get really into it.
Mhm.
And I thoroughly enjoy listening to them while I'm driving, as long as there's nobody else in my car.
Interesting.
So the second season was, see, I think the second season was the one where it was like an art tour of like some museum, but the person
Mhm.
giving the tour actually was talking about the artist as someone they knew, and it kind of wound up being like this thing about what actually happened to the artist. Um,
Ooh.
so it was this kind of mystery that was going on. And then the third season, it was done as reels, and it was like these office memos between a a secretary and like some, not congressman, but something like that, like somebody really higher up politically. So none of the seasons seem to be connected, but they're all interesting.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. So what's
I
it called again?
It's called Within the Wires.
Okay. I've heard of a similar one like that from a student who listened to it. I forget what it's called. But yeah, it was similar, like a found audio
Yeah.
and from a patient and a patient and their doctor or psychiatrist in an insane asylum.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that could very well be something like in one of the other seasons of Within the Wires.
Cool. All right, so check it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find it anywhere that you listen to podcasts, including right here on Spotify. Yeah, Within the Wires. It's a good one. There are only a handful of podcasts that I listen to like that, and that's one of them. So
Okay.
then,
So we did it.
be it. We did it.
So hit him with the outro, Dustin.
Dun 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 dun.
Thank you, Little Dreamers, for listening.
Little Dreamers is our $5 Patreon subscription tier.
Listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts until 2024,
Thanks for that, Google.
Sirius, Pandora, and YouTube, with YouTube Music and Apple Podcasts coming soon.
You can find us on our socials at TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere else that you think of social media.
Also, email us your dreams at whatmdreams@gmail.com so that we can hear from some of
what you have dreamt about. And, we might judge you harshly. I don't know. We'll see.
We will, but also it'll be fun, so it's cool. Thank you again for listening. Bye.
Bye. Forever.
No, never.
I added another note. You didn't know that.
You did add another note. I noticed it. It went up
Yeah.
instead of down.